Has there ever been a time where you find out someone doesn't like you and for no apparent reason, maybe you're a good person, maybe you're a very nice person, but for some reason, whether there's an actual reason or not, this person doesn't like you, they just don't like you. And more importantly, the fact that they don't like you really fucking bothers you. Chances are you're insecure. Because I was actually speaking about this with my friend the other day, and she was telling me how there was this one girl who just doesn't like her. Like, she's so nice to this one girl, but she just doesn't like her and she doesn't know why, and it really bothers her. Especially because she's seen this girl be nice to everyone else but her. And she was asking me for advice about what to do, right? And I told her you could probably count on one hand how many people don't like you, how many people actually outwardly show that they just don't like you for whatever reason. And yet you would need 10 more hands to count how many people show you that they actually like you. And yet we don't think about those 10 hands. We think about this hand, the hand of people who just don't like us. Isn't that so fucked up? Why do we give as much attention to the people who don't like us compared to the people who actually do like us? Matter of fact, to people who actually love us. Our family members, our friends, the people we work with, the people who actually show us that they appreciate us every single time, whether it's whether they imply it or whether they say it directly to you. We don't actually think about them all that often. We don't think about them all that often in comparison to these guys right here. Now, what if I told you that the reason why it bothers you so much actually comes from childhood trauma? I know it's gonna sound quite weird and almost far-fetched, but just hear me out for 1 second. You see, I used to be just like that. I remember when I was in high school, even up until not too long ago, maybe a year or so ago, I used to be so obsessive over thinking about the people who don't like me. In fact, I used to always think about the girls who don't like me, who don't find me attractive, versus the girls who literally show me that they are very attracted to me. And you know what, that actually really bothered me. And even though social media and people will try to show you oh, that's a normal thing, we're always interested in the people who don't like us, that's not actually normal. That's not right. That isn't right. But you know what? When I look back to when I was younger, I used to be someone who wasn't very likable. When I was about 12, 13 years old, I used to get really badly bullied. I remember when I'd be going walking home from school, and there'll be a group of kids, literally a mile down the road in front of me, right? And they look back and they shout, "Oh, it's Sada!" and run away, bro. And yeah, so that just goes to show you how much it just wasn't liked at my school. I was a nerd, bro. But then when I entered high school, in my later years, when I was 16, 17, 18, and even going to university, I was the complete opposite. I actually became very confident, charismatic, likable. Everyone seemed to like me. In my high school, I was actually one of the most popular people, one of the most popular guys in my high school. And even into university, I started to look good, look more attractive. Girls started giving me attention. And when you compare the two, when I was younger, being someone who nobody liked, I was literally a fucking loser, bro. To now in this high position in high school where everyone likes me. You know what I realized? When I was in high school, everyone who didn't like me, everyone who showed me that they didn't like me used to bother me. And the reason why is because it almost threatened to break the image that I've created. It almost threatened to bring me back to this version of myself. The version of myself who was bullied, the version of myself who was a fucking loser, bro. Everyone who didn't like me, who showed me that they didn't like me, was almost a reminder of this version of me where no one liked me. And that's why it bothered me so much. And I didn't realize it at the time, but now when I look back on it, I realize that was it. The reason why I couldn't focus on people who liked me as much as the people who didn't like me is because the people who didn't like me were almost a threat to not just to my reality, but to my own self-image, how I viewed myself. Because it was a constant reminder and a flashback to where I used to be. And every girl who showed me that they just weren't that interested in me or didn't find me that attractive was kind of a reminder to when I was ugly and skinny and no girls found me attractive at all. I was actually very gross to look at. And you know what? Chances are, maybe it might be the same for you. Maybe not. But this was my experience, and it's only when I came to realize that that I was able to work on that. Because you know what, as much as I want to say that the current version of Sadat, now like 21 years old, going on 22, is like a different person to when I was 13. You know what, that ugly, stinky poo-poo head, you know, when I was like 13 years old, that version of Sadat is still me. I'm still that guy. I'm just an evolved and more grown version of him. You know, and it's like, I try to almost reject that side of me. It's like, oh, that isn't me now. But no, that is me now. I'm the grown, evolved version of him. You know, so like, it's only when you come to accept that when you were previously like, oh, like stinky and crusty, musty, dusty, that is still you. That is still very much you. You're more him than anything else. Just a grown version. That's only when you accept that and stop trying to reject him as like a part of your past. No, he is very much you. It is only then that you are able to grow from it and grow from the insecurities that you have. Stop trying to reject yourself. Stop trying to reject your former self, your previous self, your history. You know, the history that you're ashamed of. That is you. But he has grown into your current self, right? And I think that sounds very obvious, like on paper, but I don't think you really deep it. I don't think people like really come to like let that sink in, you know. And that's all I really had to say for today, guys. I don't know, it's kind of like rambled on a little bit, but yeah, this is just a lesson that I really want to share with you guys, and I hope you learn from it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.